Welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, the live TV show all about the legal aspects of your business to help educate you on complex legal terms in an easy to understand manner, to help understand why you need to do certain things in your business from a legal point of view, and to help you develop a plan for the future. Our mission at Business Legal Lifecycle is to help empower all small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? That is the average time it takes from a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. Have you ever wanted to get legal advice but didn't understand what was going on? Do you feel like there is a divide between lawyers and their clients? Then this TV show is for you. It is all about empowering you and your business with the knowledge and tools to ensure that this doesn't happen to you. Business Legal Lifecycle TV delivers a twice-weekly show focusing on the legal aspects of your business. At lunchtime on Mondays, we present Fast Fix Monday, a quick 5 to 10 minute show that will give you some actionable steps to consider for the week for your business. And at lunchtime on Wednesdays, we present our in-depth show of between 30 minutes and an hour, where we go through complicated legal aspects of your business in a simple to understand, plain English manner. And whether that is through educational pieces or interviews with experts in their fields.
Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV. My name's Craig Mason, one of the founders. I have with me, as always, Jeremy Stratton. Say hello to everyone, Jeremy.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great Wednesday.
Excellent. So today is one of our interview shows where we go through a number of questions with an expert in their particular industry, and today is no exception to that. Jeremy conducted an interview with a fellow by the name of Adam Houlahan. Now, Adam is the owner of Web Traffic That Works. Web Traffic That Works is, you'll find, a very different type of company. First, they have a real purpose. It's to help you create powerful online presence that grows and accelerates your global footprint so that together, both Web Traffic That Works and yourself can make a huge impact. Second reason is they extend that impact by making sure that everything they do gives back in quite surprising ways. And they do that through their lifetime partnership with another company called Buy One, Give One. If you want to check that out, it's b1g1.com is the website. So Adam is a social media expert with a real passion for one of the platforms, and that is LinkedIn. He is the author of 2 Amazon best-selling books, the LinkedIn Playbook and the Social Media Secret Sauce. So I encourage everyone to read those. He's an international keynote speaker, and he has real business experience, not just doing things with LinkedIn. He's also owned and run 6 companies in the past, and he's known, at least in our sort of circles, as the guru of LinkedIn. And I'm sure you'll get a lot out of the interview that you'll also be of the same view. We've known Adam for quite some time. We've done work with him. We've used read his books regarding the LinkedIn Playbook and the Social Media Secret Sauce. So, Jeremy, top sort of 3 things or 3 takeaways you got from the interview with Adam Houlahan.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, so this was a really good interview because, as you said, we've known Adam for a while, and he's got a lot of knowledge about LinkedIn, and so he gives away a lot of value today. You're going to listen to this or watch this because Adam goes through a lot of different things. The top 3 things is really understanding. The first one is really understanding the power of LinkedIn. I didn't even realize just the power that it can actually use in business. And so he goes through that. The second one is some of the fundamental mistakes that people make. And I can tell you that Craig and I were guilty of those before we met Adam many years ago. And that some of the fundamental mistakes people make with LinkedIn. So there's some great analogies there. And the third one is Adam does give some really great tips about what to do to improve your LinkedIn profile and your presence on LinkedIn and your use of LinkedIn. So I really hope you enjoyed this interview. Adam's a great guy. We give away his contact details at the end. You can get in contact with him, and he's happy to help anyone and help them really build LinkedIn. So please enjoy my interview with Adam Houlahan. Welcome, Adam, to Business Legal Lifecycle TV and our podcast.
Thanks, Jeremy. Great to be here with you.
Excellent. So let's start off with a bit about you and your business. Can you tell us a bit about your history and how you got into LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've probably been doing this for about 5 years now, but where it really started was I was actually running another company for someone else prior to that, and was doing some research on why other companies in that space were doing better than us. What it turned out to be was they were just good early adopters of social media,
Right.
and so I really started to focus in on that. I very quickly came to understand that social media was going to play a very important part in business going forward. And then through that journey, I just kind of resonated very much personally with LinkedIn. And I just started to really focus in on LinkedIn and spend most of my personal time there.
Yep.
And then it came time to move on from running someone else's business and get back into mine. And so it just made complete sense to jump in and do that. I wrote a book about LinkedIn and got a lot of traction around the world, and here we are today.
Yeah, and you mentioned it just quickly there, but about moving into your own business. But why was that? Why did you go into your own business?
Well, I've actually always been in my own businesses. When the company I was running was called One Group. It's a brand name, My Essence.
Yep.
And it was really the only time that I had run a business for someone else. From the age of 24, which as of next month will be 30 years ago, I've always had my own businesses. So I just, I enjoyed my time there, but it was just really time to get back into, kind of building my own business. And I was at a stage where I could really afford to do that business around something I was truly passionate about. So it just made a lot of sense.
You mentioned the book earlier. That was the LinkedIn playbook that we mentioned in the intro?
It is, yep.
Yeah. And you also have the social media secret sauce as well.
I do, and I'll give you the tip. I've literally this week completed the manuscript of my next one, which will be out in a few months, called Influencer.
Oh, excellent. Well, we'll have to make sure that anyone who's interested in that knows where to sign up to get an early copy of it, if you're doing that, of course. So just finishing off with you and your history. So you've got a lot of experience in a lot of different industries. How do you think that's helped you with what you're doing now?
I think, experience is something you can't buy. And I think what it did for me was, what I'll preface by saying, by default, I was lucky enough to always have really good mentors or business partners that I was working with.
Yep.
Right back from the very, very first day one, I had two very, very powerful mentors that helped me probably not become one of those huge statistics. I'm sure you could tell me better than I believe it's something like 85% of first businesses fold within 5 years, and if it wasn't for those guys, I would have been one of those statistics. So moving through that, each business, I'd sort of learnt more, made enough mistakes and survived them to move on, and so today I still as you know, still have very good coaches and mentors, and I believe it's an integral part of business these days.
Yeah, well, that's where we met, wasn't it? Through our mutual mentors, David Dugan, who's been a guest on the show before. But that's excellent, and it's good advice to people to know that people often see successful business people and think that they're it's just come easy to them, that they've had all the breaks. But everyone in business has been through challenges, and if you haven't been, then you haven't really been trying, have you?
Or you haven't been trying, or you are lying.
You said it. I said it the nicer way. Well, let's move into LinkedIn because that's what we wanted to have a chat about today, and I love the background that you've got there in LinkedIn. But can you start off by explaining a bit of the power of LinkedIn as a business connection platform?
Sure. It's look, I think it has a number of levels of power. In my opinion, let's maybe say what it's not powerful at is as a sales tool. You'll be surprised to hear me say that, but what I see is one of the biggest mistakes people make on LinkedIn, and I'm sure you've experienced it, is you connect with someone who looks interesting, and very next thing you get is a pitch about buy this or that. And I'm sure on 99.9% of occasions you completely ignored that. It just
I wonder why I accepted the connection request in the first place.
Well, exactly. So that's what it's not good at.
Yep.
What it really is good at is as a platform to do a number of things. One is it can really get you to the decision makers. You can bypass the gatekeepers, as you know, everyone's experienced trying to go through a switchboard or a PA or whatever to even get a conversation with the key stakeholder. Can be very, very difficult. It's extremely easy. It can be extremely easy to do on LinkedIn, provided you do all the groundwork properly first. The other thing that's very, very powerful at is positioning yourself as a real expert in whatever it is you do, whatever industry it is. If you go about it the right way, you can really get a lot of traction on content. That content is the real key to LinkedIn, and more so than just connecting and messaging. And if you go about that the right way, which is kind of what our framework of what we work on is, but you can pretty much position yourself in, interestingly enough, we've done the numbers, in the top 0.02% of LinkedIn users, if you follow a very simple framework around content.
Yeah. How many LinkedIn users are there? Do you know that?
Right now there's just over 550 million accounts, and there's still 2 new profiles appearing every second.
So I'm no good at maths, that's why I'm a lawyer, not an accountant, but 0.02% is still a very small number of people, isn't it? Yeah,
it's actually about 100,000 out of 550 million.
Worldwide, that's excellent. So yeah, I can see the power of LinkedIn as a tool. So what are some of the fundamental mistakes that people make when they're using the LinkedIn platform?
So we kind of covered that a little bit just then in that, that spammy type of connect and pitch.
Yep.
We have a term for the people who do that, which is leg humpers. So don't be a leg humper. That's my first bit of advice.
Well, it's the old analogy that you don't ask a girl to marry you or a guy to marry you on the first date, do you? You go to people, right? Yeah. That's
exactly what it is. So it's all about positioning yourself with authority, and someone in authority doesn't do that. So that's by far the biggest mistake. The other mistake, which a lot of people are not aware they're making, is through curating content. So what I mean by that is, so using platforms like Hootsuite or Buffer or MeetEdgar to generate content that's going to multiple platforms, including LinkedIn.
Yep.
The problem with that is LinkedIn does not like you sharing content that links people away from the platform.
Right.
As soon as you do that, your content basically gets put into a form of suspension, which just means that very few people will actually see it. So that's probably still the biggest mistake that I see on a daily basis of people doing. Surprisingly enough, often by so-called LinkedIn experts.
Well, it's funny you say that, because you've said that before. I've heard you talk about that before, and I've seen some people. There's still heaps of people who are doing it. Like, most people don't know that is actually a thing, do they?
No, they don't. And LinkedIn is very, very bad at telling us about this. Like Facebook, for example, when they're going to make a significant change, they might not give you much notice. They might say, tomorrow we're going to make this change, but at least they tell you. LinkedIn just don't. And this change came about around November last year, so it's almost been a year now, and still catching a lot of people out.
Right. And if people do get into LinkedIn jail, what do they have to do to get out of it?
Well, yeah. So that's another thing. You can go into this form of jail, which basically what it's talking about is like a content suspension.
Yep.
And I won't go into the long-winded why. We'll make the assumption that you are. So if you're sharing that type of content, or have been doing that for quite some time, then the bots that actually come along and look for, whether your content has links or whatever, just stop doing it. They go, oh, Jeremy, everything you share is what we consider crap. So let's just put all of your stuff into content suspension. Yep. That's LinkedIn jail.
Yeah.
to get out of that is basically just stop posting for about 30 days.
Right.
Now they're benevolent dictators, so if they will give you good behaviour and let you out, provided you don't reoffend, so to speak. But that's the easiest way: is just give it a break for 30 days and then start sharing the right type of content.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. As you identified before, there's a lot of different advice out there. I get connection requests all the time from people, go to seminars and hear people talk about what's the best thing to do with LinkedIn. And they've all got different advice. But I know you've done the research, I know you've looked into it, and I know you know what you're talking about. So can you talk a bit about, for our viewers and listeners, what they can be doing right now, content-wise, to improve their use of LinkedIn?
Sure. So you really need to be using 3 types of content. Now that is native video. Now native video just means that you're uploading the video file, like your MP4 file or your MOV file or whatever, directly onto the LinkedIn platform without using like Vimeo or YouTube or that type of thing. The second is, all of the algorithmic juice right now is on the short form status posts. It used to be on the long form pulse articles. Mm-hmm. But again, earlier this year, they completely backflipped on that. And most of your content needs to be that short form. They're 1,300 character maximum text size, bite-sized bits of content. And then that same short form content with a relevant image.
Right.
If I gave you a ratio of how I would do that, I'd be saying that out of every 6 pieces of content that you share, one of those might be a video, one might be with an image, and 4 would be those text-based short forms, just as a rough guide.
As a rough guide. And with the videos, obviously everyone's kind of getting on the video bandwagon. We're doing this on Facebook Live for people who are watching it. So there's a time limit of 10 minutes on the video, isn't there?
Well, predominantly the limit is this file size, which is 5 gigabytes. Yep. But 5 gigabytes of good quality video will be roughly 10 minutes. Yep. Having said that, I would suggest it's completely irrelevant, because other than an interview style sort of video like this, you do not want to be sharing 10-minute long videos anyway. I would say that what we always say is somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes, and 2 minutes is the sweet spot. Right. So we always aim to have ours, you can say a lot in 2 minutes. Yep. And you find your drop off after 2 minutes starts to get quite significant. Well, certainly after 3 minutes gets significant.
Yeah, because everyone's watching it on these things or their iPads, and they're not sitting at their computer watching it for a long period of time, are they?
No, they're not. And the other thing is that they're also watching it without sound. There's over 85% of videos now are watched without sound. Wow. So you do need to put the captioning across, these sort of short form videos that we're talking about. The reason for that is, people are watching them on buses and planes and trains and things. So, so they don't sort of annoy other people. And also because they're at work doing it when they really shouldn't be.
Oh, very good. What about that's on the content side. What about on their profile? Like, what do people have to do to improve their LinkedIn profile? And what do people get wrong in that space as well?
Good question. So let me share 4 really simple things that you could change on your profile that would make a big difference straight away. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's much more, but we'd be here all day if we went into that. The first thing I would say is get a really good background image on that's the section up at the very top of your profile. Yep. The high majority of profiles I see still just have the placeholder there with nothing there. Yep. And you're missing a massive opportunity to position yourself or your business or whatever through a bit of imagery. You can just go on like Fiverr or Upwork or whatever, and you can get these done for like $10. Yep. So that would be the first thing I'd say. The second thing is to have a really good and up-to-date, and I'm going to preface up-to-date profile image. I'll give you so something like a selfie you took at a barbecue or whatever. Might be right for Facebook, but LinkedIn's a professional platform. You really want to have a good image there. Yeah. And to give you an example, not that long ago, I had someone contact me on LinkedIn wanted to connect and have a meeting on Zoom like we're doing right now.
Yep.
And which we did. I had a look at her profile and everything, and then jumped on Zoom, and the person on the other side of the screen was about 20 years older than the profile image. Not that she was a lovely looking lady 20 years ago, certainly still was, but it really it's an instant disconnection of trust when that happens.
And I think on that point too, you normally want that relationship to go off the computer at some point as well, depending on what it is. And I know for myself, when I'm going to a meeting with someone who I might know on LinkedIn, I go and have a look at their profile, even on my phone before I go to the trip. And if I'm looking for, and I've had a similar issue before, where I haven't been able to recognise the person because their photo was an old photo. So I think, it's it's got nothing to do with, anything other than just knowing what someone actually looks like, so that when you meet them, you know who they are.
Exactly. So that's the point of it. That's number two. The third one is to make sure that your professional headline is, it's a very critical part to have in there correctly.
Yep.
Now, by default, LinkedIn will try to actually put whatever in your position descriptions, whatever you have in there, it'll put that in there by default. But this is an area that's a very critical section that they use for showing you in searches. So you've got to think of that section as in keywords. Like for an example, probably the two most redundant position titles that you'll get on LinkedIn, and I'm sure probably many of your listeners or viewers won't like this, but it would be to call yourself a CEO or general manager.
Yeah.
Now, the point of what I'm making there is, like, for example, if you look at my profile, yes, I'm the CEO of our company, but you'll not see that term anywhere on my profile except one little reference in the summary. Of all the high value areas where there's keywords, and that professional headline is one, you don't use it in there. So you want to think about it as to what you want to be shown for in searches. The last one, of course, is a lot of people don't seem to still use the summary. The summary is an optional part you can put on your profile, but you definitely need to. It's really the first thing and the most likely thing people are going to read. So you need to have the summary there and have that summary really well written.
Yeah, that's excellent. I think that there's a lot of people out there, I see them every day, LinkedIn profiles, who don't have those four fundamental things. And as you say, they're key to have right at the beginning. So is there anything else that people could do right now that could actually help them improve their use of LinkedIn?
Well, I would say have two very simple things. Have a strategy around connecting with the right type of people.
Yep.
Now, obviously, it's time based on how much spare time you have,
yep.
but you can send up to 75 connection requests a day.
Right.
Now, when we're doing this for our clients, we probably average, I never suggest you push the limits of anything. We generally aim to do about 50 a day, 6 days a week, so about 300 a week. There's a saying, I'm sure you've heard, it's your network is your net worth. So you want to be upping your connections, and I'm not meaning like we're talking about with the leg hump strategy. It's not connect and pitch, it's just connect so that they can get access to seeing your content and what you're all about. That's the first part. The second part would be to start, if you're not already, some form of content strategy. So as I said, when we do this, we share 13 pieces of content a month. I'm not saying you want to start there, you want to work towards that, but even if you could just get out one thing a week, that would be a good start.
Yeah, that's good advice. So let's talk about how people can use LinkedIn to expand their business. Talk a bit about that, and a little bit, because you're an expert in LinkedIn, a little bit about what you do and help people in that space as well. Okay.
So, what I think is the way that you can expand your business is certainly by connecting with the people who are your potential ideal clients. Start sharing good content, which we've been talking about, and what you'll find is that if you're consistent at that, then the right type of people start to gravitate towards you and reach out to you. Like with us, you'll never see in any strategy we create where we ever try to sell anything. LinkedIn's in my opinion, it's a real value from that, that next step of generating revenue. It's the top of funnel. So it's not the buy my, whatever it is that you happen to be sort of selling, or whatever your service is.
Yep.
It's moving people through that journey of know, like, and trust.
Yep.
You have a great profile, and good content allows people to get to know who you are. If they like you, that comes from you engaging with your audience. So commenting on other people's posts, replying to people who comment on your posts, that type of thing. That's the like stage.
Mm-hmm.
And trust comes from building that community. So the bigger your community and everything, the more likely you are to bring people through to that next step of wanting to have a conversation about what it is you do.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think it's really important for people to understand that they've got to do on the platform the kind of actions like the sharing, the engagement that the platform wants from you. Because that's one of the lessons I've learned over the years is whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, that they have their goals. They want engagement. They want people on the platform. So you've got to play their game to get the reward from them, don't you?
Well, you do, but one of the, if you wanted to again make any sort of comparison to Facebook, as we know, getting real traction on Facebook is it's now a pay-to-play platform. You've got to spend a little bit of money on boosting posts and that sort of thing, even if you've got great content. LinkedIn actually wants to share good content. So if the algorithms are pretty smart. If they see that you're engaging with people, they see you're sharing good content, they will promote your content for free. So we regularly get, 10, 15,000 views on a piece of any form of piece of content.
Yep.
I personally had up to over 500,000 views. We share in one of the training programs we use, one of the strategies we used around giving away a free copy of my book. On one post, we generated 1,700 leads in 5 days.
Wow.
That type of, with zero ad spend. That was all just through organic sort of, knowing how to do that, and also with a little bit of free help from LinkedIn, because, if you're getting the engagement, they will share the content.
Do you know, and this is something you and I haven't talked about before, but the ad spend, do you know anyone, or are you using the ads in LinkedIn to any to generate any leads, or are you just using your organic content to do that?
Look, as you know, we work with a lot of clients across a lot of industries and a lot of countries, and we track very carefully across all of them, big spreadsheets and everything on the total ad spends of everyone and the ROI on that.
Yep.
And, I can share with you, because I was just looking at it this morning. Spent in the last 5 years, it's $0.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm not downplaying the value of the ad platform.
Yep.
It's quite expensive. My philosophy is that you're better off spending your money on good quality content and a good strategy, and not understanding how LinkedIn wants things to work, and you can generate that high level ROI, without any ad spend.
Yeah, excellent advice. So let's transition just out of LinkedIn for a while, and let's talk about the future. Well, we can talk about the future of LinkedIn. There's a lot of buzzwords about disruption in any industry. It is what everyone's talking about. What do you see the biggest challenges in what you do in say the next 5 years?
Well, it's the crystal ball you'd love to have, isn't it? But and look, all forms of social media, LinkedIn included, change very quickly.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons why we as an agency have decided to really focus just on LinkedIn, because I believe it's getting very, very hard in the social media space to be all things to all people.
Yep.
The talent pool you need to have to be excellent at doing Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and everything else is incredibly high.
Yep.
And very, very, very difficult to maintain a team like that, as opposed to lasering in on a niche. I think that's where the future is. So I believe that, and also in your strategy. So the days of needing to be across every single platform, I believe, are gone as well.
Yep.
As business owners, we need to have one or two that we really, really focus in on. Work with people who really, really understand those one or two platforms. Make sure, of course, they're the right platform. That's the first thing you've got to work out with. I believe in business in general that is kind of the same. The days of being very, very effective as a generalist are getting harder and harder to do. Not only at the cost of inner city office space to have 20, 30 people in a room, also the ability now for people to compete on a world scale. So you're now competing with someone that is in working out of an office garage, but in a very low rent suburb or somewhere, not necessarily even in Australia. It could be in the Philippines. Some unbelievably talented people in the Philippines that can do a lot of what you might have done, but I don't mean you personally, but I just mean in general, at a tenth of the price.
Yeah. and that, as the world becomes more interconnected, that's going to be the case. And the challenge is to be ahead of that, be alive to it, and then adapt, not to try and fight it, in my view anyway. Not to get political, but... so what about you? What's next on the horizon for you personally?
Well, as you know, I travel a lot. I speak at a lot of events around the world about LinkedIn. So I've got a couple of those coming up. One I'm really excited about is in Thailand in November, which is Accelerated Business School. So it's a big event, and very honoured to be speaking at that one. Yep. Beyond that, I've got the book coming out, the new book, which, as I said, literally finishing the first draft manuscript in the next couple of days. Excellent. But with the process of creating a book, as you know, that still means a few months away before it's launched. So December, that will be out. And we're putting a lot of focus on our 12-week program, which is the 12-week influencer program, which was really a group-based program that really is helping a lot of people go deep on exactly what we're talking about, how to really create an effective LinkedIn strategy, how to monetize it, how to position yourself as highly influential. And we only launched that in July, and I think we're at about 180 people have gone through the program already, and it's still growing. So that's our real focus for the next couple of years.
I think that's great, and I think that's something that a lot of people need. If you want to use LinkedIn, and it does change all the time, doesn't it? As you said earlier, like they change it and they don't really announce the changes. So that's where using yourself in those kind of services can really help. So anyone who's listening or watching this who's interested in getting to LinkedIn, we'll go through in a minute, get Adam's contact details, and you can have a chat if you want to have a look at that 12-week program. But before we do that, I can't let you go without finishing our quick fire questions. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Just give me the first answer that comes to mind, and see how you go. All right?
Okay.
All right. So the first one is, how did you make your first dollar?
I was a DJ at a roller skating rink.
Whereabouts?
In Nelson Bay, and it's just a bit north of Newcastle in New South Wales.
That's the best answer I've had so far. Well done. What book do you think every business owner should read?
Oh, well, either the LinkedIn Playbook or Influencer, clearly.
Very good. And, well, Influencer in a few months, if anyone who's watching the replay, will listen to the replay. And so the final question, probably a bit more serious, is if you could give advice to your younger self, what would that advice be?
Oh, it would definitely be to make sure you've got good mentors and coaches around you. I, as I said, by default, I was lucky to have that right from day one. But even with young kids and things that I mentor now, I definitely coach them on the importance of that going forward.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think that's excellent advice. Something it took me a long time to get into, but wouldn't go back from from working with the people that I work with. So, Adam, thank you so much for your time. Before we conclude, is there anything that we've missed today that you think is really important that you want to get across to our viewers and listeners?
I think probably if there's anything we haven't covered that's important, we've talked about content and your engagement strategies, but I think at the end of the day, the thing to be really mindful of is just to be real, just to be honest, just to be yourself. People resonate the most. You don't have to be, your content doesn't have to be super polished. It doesn't matter if you make a few mistakes. The main thing is just to, be yourself, and that's what people will engage with.
Yeah, I think that's good advice in life, isn't it? Don't try to pretend to be someone that you're not. Be yourself, and yeah, you'll find where you're meant to be.
Exactly right. Funny, I had an interview just recently, and someone said, "Oh, we see what you like online through all your videos and whatever. What do you like in real life?" And I went, "Well, just like that." So
We've been friends for a number of years now, through the various groups. So yeah, no. People reach you if they'd like to discuss anything further.
Look, probably the best thing is, well, one, LinkedIn, clearly. The other is our website, which is webtrafficthatworks.com, and either of those you'll get hold of me very easily.
Right, and we'll link those up in the show notes. I think you're at your maximum number of connections on LinkedIn, but people can still follow you. Is that correct?
Look, I've always keep a little bit of room. I'm always look like everyone. When I first started on LinkedIn, I connected with a lot of people who were not the right type of people.
Yep.
So I am going through now and kind of cleaning that up a little bit. So there's always room for some good people.
All right. Yeah. No worries. We'll send Adam a connection request if you'd like to know more. All right. Well, thank you very much, Adam, and we'll speak soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Adam. As I said in the intro, my top 3 takeaways really from Adam was really the power of LinkedIn and really understanding what it can do for your business. Going through some of the fundamental mistakes, and as I said in the intro, and I'm sure Craig would agree, we made a lot of those mistakes early on. And the final thing is his tips on how to actually use them. So look, I really hope you got a lot out of it. As always, we have a workbook, which if you're watching this on Facebook, you can download straight from the comments section, or you can jump onto businesslegallifecycle.com.au/131 for our 31st show. So yeah, Craig, do you want to finish off?
Yeah, absolutely. Great interview. Thank you, Adam, for joining us. We'll be back again on Monday for Fast Fix Monday, so please join us then. As Jeremy said, check out the show notes and the workbook on the website, show number 131. Remember to like the video on Facebook or however you might be getting the content, and we'll be back again on Monday. Thank you, everyone. See you later.
See you later.